Welcome to the Bear Pit Pod. We're back.
This feels like the first proper pod of the season. We did a few like pre-season ones, and this is back here in this
New studio if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah, it's alright.
It looks different.
Same room but different backgrounds.
We've got some international kits on the wall, some posters. Absolutely no relevance to Stoke City whatsoever.
Yeah, it just works, doesn't it? Ignore all that stuff. We got that.
Ignore
in the
that.
background.
We've got this.
That's all that
We've got
matters.
this. If you can't see it, it's the TV screen that says the Bear Pit TV. If you're listening via audio. So good summer though. Away from football.
The World Cup made it, didn't it?
Yeah.
The World Cup was incredible. I think that was my favourite World Cup of my lifetime. I think my number one spot prior to that was France '98. But this just had summit. It was just amazing. And England's run obviously helped and all the rest of it.
I was there.
You were there.
It was brilliant. I say brilliant. It was brilliant. There's absolutely no denying it being a World Cup.
You can't put a button.
It's great, but
Come on.
takes it out of you being there and working.
I suppose you were working, weren't you? You weren't there.
25
just a big
days.
Jolly.
Like 10 days would have done me,
Yeah.
and that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was good. It was
Yeah.
good. I mean, I can't describe how much I thought I was going to die at the Colombia penalties game. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I thought I was going to keel over.
It's weird, the World Cup, because I thoroughly enjoyed it, and going into that semi-final against Croatia, I was buzzing. I thought this is amazing, how unique this is. Despite all that, it still wasn't a patch on the anticipation I felt wandering towards Ellen Road, the first game of the season, which is bizarre.
Fair.
World Cup semi-final. There's just not that like one's more exciting than the other, but it's just a different feeling, a different vibe. I got when you're kind of in the stand with the Stokies and stuff. It just feels a little more.
It's
personal.
more. Yeah, it is. It's more
personal to me and my family, my friends, and all that
What's the
sort of
word?
stuff.
I was going to say incestuous, but that's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know that word.
That's definitely the wrong
Yeah.
word. What a start! What a start! Yeah, we'll go with it's more personal.
Yeah, that's fine.
Also, it was your stag do. We did a podcast from there. For those who watched or listened,
We did.
Podcast from the stag. Was your stag? Rate it.
It was brilliant. Yeah, I mean you can't really go wrong when you start. Well, as long as you got your mates. That
well, we did go wrong because we missed a boat ride whilst
Yeah.
she was dressed as a mermaid.
Dressed as a mermaid. But in terms of if you go on your stag, and as long as your mates don't screw you over, which they didn't, they were very kind. Well, in terms of drink they were, but not fancy dress and all that sort of stuff.
I was going to say you weren't sick or anything.
I wasn't sick or anything like that, but all the lads were there in good spirits. You're very close to everyone that's there, so it kind of all fine took place. And even dressing up as a mermaid was fine.
Enjoyable.
I'm not saying I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going to take that home or anything, but it was fine. I thought.
And let's just say that I won the foot golf.
Did you win the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were quite.
We'll leave
good.
it there. We'll leave it there. Firstly, then, let's get back into Stoke. We'll start off with Stoke. Let's catch up and talk transfer window. Obviously, the loan window is still open, and that's what apparently Gary Rowett is now going to have to lean on to finish all his business. But how are you rating it? How are you thinking we did? Especially, you've got to remember as well with the promises that we were told about building the squad, and I personally, I feel like there's still a lot of areas that we need to improve.
I think there is. I think we seem very top heavy in central midfield without having too much quality there, if that makes sense.
Deadline day signing of Sam Clucas.
Yeah, which is a very good signing.
Can't play for another 4 weeks or so.
Not much fit.
And I think the thing that was made very apparent to me when I was reading Gary Rowett's interview about signing the player is that he can play left back.
He can play what?
Left back.
Left back?
Yeah.
As in Clucas can play left
Yeah.
back? It's weird. I didn't know that. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
I think he's a sort of a utility man. I think that's what Gary Rowett's seen him
Right,
as.
okay. I might bore you with this podcast slightly by saying I'm not sure that many times because we're 2 games in and I don't know. I don't know what our first 11 should be. I have a stab at it on Friday night. I'm often wrong, or at least just not on the ball.
Hey, you got the first week right.
I did get one right, but it didn't help, did it? Because we were awful. I don't know who should be playing. I don't know the formation we should be playing. What I can briefly tell so far is that from nowhere I feel we're a bit shy of centre backs now because Bruno got injured. Ryan or Ashley Williams gets injured, which is very likely for a 34-year-old and someone that's got historic back issues in Ryan.
Yeah.
Then what do we do? So I think
struggling.
I think we've just we've chosen players because they're available as opposed to we've bought players because they fit what we want to play. That's the impression I'm getting.
Yeah.
I still feel like we're missing out on a winger or two because he doesn't like cheap emoting, which is fine, I suppose. I don't know at the moment. I'm not convinced. We've got centre midfielders coming out of our arse, but I don't know who's the main man or men that's going to fill that area. I don't know, Al, sorry.
Neither do I.
Over to you, mate. I don't know.
Neither do I. I think we had a positive window in the fact that we got a striker in, which we'd been crying out for so
Afobe,
long.
yeah.
We've got Afobe in. And then as well, we got wingers eventually. I think we got them late on, but we did get them. Neither of them would have been my first choice, personally.
No.
I've never been a fan of Vince.
No.
Although there's no doubt that he can, or he shows that he can do it in the Championship, but when he makes that step up, he's lost. I don't think he's ever done it in the Premier League. And I think I had my heart set on Matt Ritchie.
Yeah, well, you sound like we're close to him, which is frustrating.
And I'd like to go into that a little bit, because obviously pages come in for a little flack when they pretend, or well, they're not pretending, but hear a bit of information and put it out there. And
it's in the Bear Pit page.
It's in the Bear Pit page, right. and we don't do it often. We don't claim ourselves to be, the people in the bushes, or the in the nose. We don't claim to be, and the only reason we put something like that up is because we're told and we believe it's from a reliable source, and most people have worked out who that is from the Matt Ritchie rumour.
Yeah.
And it was the same person who we claimed the Joselu rumour off what came right.
Yeah.
But Ritchie, for whatever reason, I think it all came down. I think it was done. I think he was ready to come, and I think it all fell through due to Newcastle not being able to get a replacement.
Yeah.
And I think that's all it came down to. And I think I had my heart set on Ritchie, going back to the main point. So Ince is a downgrade on Ritchie. McLean, obviously all the troubles that come with him, with his political views, whatever that may be. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but it's just something that I don't think we needed. I think we could have gone and signed a player of similar or of better ability without that problem. I don't think he's actually a great player.
In terms of all this kind of the political stuff with McLean, for the 2 games I've been so far, I've not heard one Stoke fan make any reference to that, which I think would be...
I saw a few...
That's how it's going to go. Within the ground, that is, sorry. Within the grounds, I've not heard any kind of murmurs or grumbles or boos.
Because I've seen a few on Twitter.
I've seen them on Twitter.
I've seen a few people saying that there's some people shouting some things at him, or some people booing him, or even as Stoke fans, which is a bit hard to take.
I personally think that'll go under the radar, that whole thing, whilst at Stoke. My biggest worry is his performances. Bollocks to all the rest of it, I want to see what he does on the pitch, and so far, a mixed bag, if I'm being kind.
No, agreed. He did look very bright in a pre-season game. I think it was the one in Germany, St. Pauli, but he's not done it yet.
No,
and the chance that sticks out, but he was. The chance that sticks out in my mind is I think it was Leeds when he was clean through.
And
he just made the wrong decision. And we'll come on to Leeds now.
Yeah, I won't. Yeah, fine.
And he was clean through and made the wrong decision. He should have just hold on to the ball and slotted it in the bottom corner, but he tried to square it to Afobe, I think.
Yeah.
Made it the wrong decision, wrong time, and defender intercepted. But let's get on to Leeds. I think we were blown away.
We were blown away, and we've seen what they've done since the derby, which gives me a little bit of kind of comfort that it wasn't us being that bad, because Leeds were, I think you could say, that good on the day.
100%.
The Championship, they're amazing. They did blow us away. We could not get near them. And I think we went in, I think the hopes had gradually risen post-relegation. We had signed some signings that we thought were quite decent, etc., and all that sort of stuff. It was awful. It was the worst case scenario that I could have imagined. And I've said that many times. I've said it on a few videos for Bear. I said it to my mates. I was convinced we'd lose to Leeds. I just think they would relish the chance of playing Stoke that would come down from the division, new manager, big crowd behind the first home season. I was absolutely convinced we'd lose, but I didn't think we'd lose that badly. We were flattered to get a goal, to be honest. Really flattered. We didn't do anything. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go off track if I'm not careful. But yeah, to summarise that game, we all know now. It was a couple of weeks ago. It was awful, really, really bad. And I don't want to be too dramatic. 2 games into the season, but what have we been doing all summer? I don't know. These players look like they've just been shook together the first time in their lives. I couldn't work out what formation we were playing. The players didn't seem to know where they should be, where they should stand, who they should interact with. It was all a bit lost and clueless. Bad start.
It was
awful
a bad start.
But
it was a bad start.
There we go.
And there was also in that game, I think it's worth pointing out, there was a big talking point. There was the Jack Butland error as well.
Yeah, right on half time.
Which turned the game.
That did the game for us, really. We never came back from that.
Was Jack in that moment? I mean, he had a good performance at the game we'll come on to at the weekend, but is he carrying through a bit of that doubt that it eventually saw him removed, I'd say, as England number one? Is he still carrying a bit of that?
I think he is. I mean, we'll come...
And with no move appearing in the summer?
I think... I get the impression Jack's... Because we'll come on to Jack properly, will we? Or now, maybe, about the quotes come out with today, but I've always had a lot of faith in Jack's personality and intelligence as an individual, and I think he says and thinks the right things, and I don't think he's the sort of player that would let the fact he's not moved to a Chelsea or whatever get in the way of his performances. I just think he's having a shocking 12 months. I don't think his mind or his head's been turned. I just think he's in awful form at the moment, or form well below his standard anyway. I mean, we'll come on to it a bit later, but I think there's a wider issue of confidence within the squad. Mm-hmm. It's so evident. It was there against Brentford.
Yeah,
heads are down,
relegated,
and low at the moment. Really
it's
are.
The majority. So let's get on to Brentford now. Starting lineup: Fletcher being in there shocked me.
Where did that come from?
Etbo was dropped, and Dai was dropped. Probably with
rightly
a view,
dropped as well.
Probably with a view to leaving.
Yeah, he was poor against Leeds. Worst player in the park against Leeds.
But as I was, and I'm sure many other Stoke fans were, glad to see Bojan back in the mid-start lineup.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, he was probably, if not the best player at the weekend.
I think the best three players against Brentford were no particular
We'll come on to that.
Okay.
We'll come on to that. We do the best players section. Forgot already. Been away a summer, Craig, and you forgot the format.
Just keen. I want to just put a bit of positivity in Stoke as well. That's all I had. So yeah, Bojan starting good. When's the last time he's played a home game for Stoke? Well, at the Britannia, about 365.
Wolves, when he got dragged off, maybe?
Under Hughes? Yeah. About 18 months ago or something, that wasn't it?
Was that the last one? I might be wrong.
Maybe. I can't recall when it was, but it was great to see Bojan back on the starting 11. Generally, I saw that formation because this early in the season, you don't know what is good or what is bad, so you can't really complain or grumble and go, he shouldn't be there. Exactly, he shouldn't be playing, it shouldn't be this. But it is what it is, so you kind of take it with a pinch of salt and watch what unfolds, and what did unfold was almost as bad as Leeds.
So
as bad as Leeds.
I think that came off very apparent in the first half hour or so is Brentford were all over us.
Yeah.
And we looked so, again, off the pace. Mm-hmm. They had the best chances, they were playing it about well, and if it wasn't for Jack, I think we might have been behind by a couple.
Comfortably, yeah. It's weird because even though we played awful against Brentford and were lucky to draw, I could still note that we were playing a championship team. When they got the ball into the final third, their shooting and crossing was definitely sub-Premiership, which they are, I get that point, but it showed, and thank God it was as well, because a team with a little bit more quality up front would have put us to the sword easy. We could have easily lost 2, 3, 4 that day.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. But we went ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even venture into the positivity about the goal. I can't get excited. I mean, the only thing is Afobe scored, your striker's scoring, that's it. But
2-2.
You're 2-2, yeah. Penalty and the easiest chance he will ever get in his lifetime. That's a positive, of course. Completely against the run of play. It was
apparently. I think the keeper's come out. A keeper or defender, one of them's come out since and said that the crowd they couldn't hear because of the crowd they couldn't hear each other.
Yeah, it wasn't that loud
because of a lack of communication.
All right.
Well, it was in the. And we probably should mention it as well. It was in the minutes applause.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah.
For I think it's Samantha Eastwood.
I think it is. Yeah, I won't want to guess.
I don't want to guess, but I know it was in the minutes applause for a girl who sadly was passed away under whatever circumstance. Might have been. I don't know. But it was in the minutes applause, which was brilliant. It was great to have that happen during that minute. It was as if she was looking down on the ground.
Well, I was actually looking. Yeah, exactly. I was looking across the stands, and the next bit turned round, and it was cheering. It was like, how the hell has that happened?
It couldn't have been more perfect or fitting.
Yeah,
so to say. So that's apparently why they didn't hear each other.
Right.
But yeah, tap in. 2-2. Is he the striker that? Is he looking like the striker we needed to?
I don't want to creep again into
negative territory.
No, into the best player sort of scenarios. But I think if he's not the perfect striker for 4-3-3, he's certainly a striker that should be starting for us. Mm-hmm. He was one of the brief sparks. He is so quick on the turn. I've not seen a striker. I mean, we've seen what we've been watching Stoke now for the past years. I've not seen a striker play like a striker for 2 years.
Yeah,
and it was great just to see someone with a bit of movement, a bit of nous around the box, and he'll do absolutely fine for us at Afobe. Whether the rest of the squad will be able to keep up with him, I'm not sure at this stage, but he was good. He was good, yeah.
Very good. After that goal, we seemed to calm down a little. I think we had a bit better of the
There's
play.
about a 15-20 minute spell where we got the ball, where it needed to be on the pitch, and we looked quite neat in possession. You could see hints, and I'm being really calm when I say this, but hints of our better quality, nipping round the Brentford defence. But I'm not going to dwell on this brief moment of playing well, because it was short-lived, and I don't want to describe the game as something it wasn't. It was very, very brief passage of decent play, but I don't know. Let's roll on the second half.
Before I do go to second half, I just wanted to correct ourselves. Well, we went wrong, but I just wanted to make sure we had it right. It was Samantha Eastwood, and she was apparently may have been murdered. The midwife in Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah.
And all the thoughts from the Bear Pit go out to her,
shocking,
her family.
It's shocking.
It's a terrible story. I have seen bits of it, but we couldn't bring it.
I remember seeing it on my news feed. There was some mates of mine that were sharing the post. And
I know someone who went to university with her.
Yeah, it's tragic. It's tragic. Yeah.
But just wanted to, like I say, we scored in that minute silence, and if that isn't fitting, I don't know what is. So rest in peace, Samantha. So get on to the second half. There were chances for both sides in the second half. I think Brentford had a spell of possession that you wouldn't say is a world away from Barcelona. It's been shared on social media since.
Yeah.
I think Soccer Aim has shared it today, Sky Sports and a few other places. And they finished it off sumptuously with a strike into the bottom corner. I've watched it back and I've thought we could have done a lot better.
We could have done a lot better all over the place. We were chasing shadows. We tried to close down their fullback. Their fullback and midfielders who were literally knocking it around as like the men versus boys, and then they skipped past the midfielders. They did all game, got it towards the strikers. Defenders weren't tight. I mean, there was error after error. Not glaring errors, but basic kind of footballing necessities you need. Closing the play down, being tight to men, that sort of stuff. It was missing all over the place, and it was more than they deserved. That equalised more than they deserved. I don't know what's up with the squad. We can't seem to press. We seem to be unfit.
What do you think of the style of football?
Rowett's.
It seems to me very direct.
I can't even pick out a style at the moment because I don't think we've been in the game to really kind of put off. Even if it is long ball, which
put a stamp on it.
Even if Rowett does go on to play long ball, we've never imposed ourselves on a game to put that style into practice. I don't know. I've not picked out a style
in
yet.
the first two games, I think it's comfortable and fair to say that Brentford and Leeds have been passing and knocking about better than we have.
Oh, definitely. Brentford 100%. More so, but yeah, definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that's singling out what we're trying to do. If we'd have been coached and been trying to play a certain way of football for all summer, we'd be doing that, or we'd at least be trying. I don't think we're trying to do that.
No.
I don't think we're trying to knock it about. I think we're trying to work it into a position where we can cross, but I don't think we're...
But we're not getting the ball. Again, I don't know what... If we play direct, we do what Pulis did, fine.
I was going to say, I've got no problem with that.
Fine, it's worked for us in the past, but we're not pressing the ball anywhere. We're 2-3 yards off the pace every single time. My biggest concern at the moment is we just look unfit. We honestly look like a team that's just come on back from IB for 2 weeks, and then we're playing a team that's halfway through the season. We are that far off the pace. It's so worrying. I don't know why.
Well, I remember that in an interview, I don't know if you saw, or the listeners probably may have seen, the hour that Gary Rowett spent on BBC Stoke.
Yeah, I listened to that.
Yeah.
He interviewed well.
Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
Good.
One of the key things that came apparent to me off that was he said, I'm not making excuses, but I didn't plan the pre-season. That was set out.
Yeah,
that was set out before he was there. So if we not had the ideal preparations, I feel like we might not have.
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. And if that's him getting his excuses in early, we just don't look like we've had a pre-season at the moment. That it looks like it did under Hughes a little bit. The amount of similarities between the play last year and this year it's scary. It's really scary. We look just as unfit as we did against Hughes, and if that's because of the pre-season, I don't know.
Okay, let's get on to it. Best players. I know you've been so keen to.
Yeah. So there's a trio. I think a few people disagree with this, but Tom Ince I thought played well.
Do you?
Yeah, we got him on the match of the ground. And I thought that's fair enough. But then I've heard others say no chance, he was poor. So do you know?
I wouldn't have him in mind.
Would you not? I thought he was alright, Tom Ince. I thought he looked threatening at least. He got on the ball a bit in the right half of the pitch. I think Tom Ince, Afobe and Bojan are the best three. And
Okay, my three will be Bojan,
Yeah.
Butland and Afobe.
Butland's a good shout. Yeah, he should probably sneak into my top four in that case.
How many do you want, Craig? You'll be naming an 11.
But there's no more. That's it. Four, that's it. No one else is that great. Williams is alright, to be fair. When he come on, he shoulders up slightly. I thought Ince was our best player.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you've got a completely different perspective. You were at the game, I was watching on a stream. Let's go on to that about the stream for just 1 second. Everyone who's been on the Stoke City streaming website so far, give us a shout if you've been on the VPN like I have.
Is that illegal if you do that?
Who's to say?
Not that you've done it or anyone else has, but is that illegal if you
I'm not sure.
use a VPN to whatever?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, and I wouldn't like to accuse anyone of doing it.
No, just trying to warn people not to do it.
But I hear the Stoke City stream's great.
Okay.
For international fans.
Well, I'm actually in France next week, so I can test it out properly.
You can do it. You can let us know. Give us a
can test
review
it out
on
legally.
next week. Because I've only heard great reviews, but that is from other people.
Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah, yeah, of course. One you. You want you.
On to worst players.
McLean had a shocker.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He worked, I suppose, but it was worrying. There's a few times where he got kind of one-on-one with the fullback, and he just kind of thought, I don't know what to do with it, and turned around. I don't know how to take someone on. This isn't my cup of tea. He just turned around.
Yeah.
He looked like a really poor Liam Lawrence, or a really poor Johnny Walters. Yeah, he had a poor game.
Peters, I don't think it was great.
Peters wasn't great. Bauer didn't have a good game either, actually.
He looked a bit like a headless chicken.
He did.
He was all over the shop.
I like to think it's just he's that keen to pull us
impress.
Back. Yeah.
He's got so much energy.
Because I do like Bauer's attitude, and I like to think it's that as opposed to him being shit. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Worst player, probably McLean.
Okay.
Worryingly bad, to be honest.
I can agree with that. Man of the match.
I say Ince.
You're saying Ince, aren't you?
You're gobsmacked about.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to say Butland. I think
Butland was very good.
I think he earned disappointment.
Can we stick that there for the comments, actually? Because I'm quite keen to know if I was seeing the wrong game. Was Ince good? Because those around me seem to suggest he was. He got man of the match to the ground, which isn't the best yardstick. But was he any good?
Oh, that's people who want to meet the sponsors. We all know that.
Yeah, why Tom Ince then? Bojan, surely.
Yeah, sure. That'd be mine.
So there we go. It's been a bad start, and I don't know what segment we're on the agenda here, but I just want to. The biggest thing for me is we can talk tactics, formations, players, all the rest of it. The biggest thing holding us back at the moment is it's a lack of confidence. We're wallowing in this relegation. The only players that look fresh and unique to the first 11 was Afobe and Ince, because you see they're not being burdened with the past 12 months. It's not on the pressure of the crowd and the club's not on their minds or on their shoulders. You could see that as a sense of freedom when they played. Tell you what, who was the worst player. Sorry.
It
did. And he's had moments for Stoke where he's been great, so I'm not like slamming him forever here, but Joe Allen, what on earth happened there?
I don't think he had a great game at all, but I've seen a lot of people asking, what does Joe Allen do?
I don't know if we should have a thing on Joe Allen here, but Joe Allen, for me, that was his worst game, the Stoke shirt. And I'm not a Joe Allen hater. I don't think there's many that really are, so I'm not calling him out.
Everyone's delighted he signed a new deal.
Yeah, of course, but what on earth happened there? His thing is fitness, running around, pressing the play and all that sort of stuff. Making him sound like a Labrador or something. But he's got a lot of qualities, but he was not at the races at all. I've not seen Joe play that badly. He's the one that really emphasised the lack of fitness, and he's the one that's got the fitness. I don't know what happened there. In fact, scrap McLean, Joe Allen was the worst player for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Changing it?
Yeah, he was poor. Oof. I completely forgot about it.
Drama in the worst player of the week ratings.
Yeah. My point being, we're wallowing in relegation. Players are scared to get on the ball. They don't want to touch it. They don't want the crowd on their backs, and it's horrible. We need to shift this quickly, and I feel we need to get as many fresh faces, new signings into that first 11 as we can, because we need a mentality shift from that first 11, because at the moment it's negative. It's not good at all.
It isn't.
No.
It isn't. I mean, I'm already vetting the questions to come up because there's some belters this week. After the game, though, Gary Rowett wasn't happy.
I like that.
He wasn't happy.
I like
his
that.
quote, which I'll read out, is my message to the players: we have to wake up. It's no good being a good player on paper. You've got to show it on the pitch.
Mm-hmm. He's spot on, and Rowett's kind of come in for a load of flack. I can't remember the last time a Stoke City manager this early on into his career has got this much
Battering
stick.
players.
No, not
right,
just
okay.
that, from the fans. Even Lambert got through to relegation. His reputation was kind of intact in a weird way. Rowett is getting battered by the Stoke fans. I'm not having it yet. We're 2 games in to a new season. I think we need to just kind of chill out a little bit and let it settle slightly.
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of time. It's 2
games,
like I say. You can't make judgments yet. There's still so much time to implement a philosophy, training, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It might not be working immediately, but once all the players might have a grasp of the tactics or the way to play, and there's a lot of players there who haven't played with each other before. Once that maybe gels, and I'm trying to be positive here, maybe it'll change.
I completely agree. I wanted to mention this on the pod today, actually, despite the fact that I've kind of lambasted these 2 performances, and rightly so, because they were poor. I'm not going to kind of make stuff up that were great. But at the same time, Stoke fans, all of us, I think we've got to chill out slightly. The oatcake is in absolute despair.
I don't go on.
I can't help myself, but it is an absolute despair in that place.
It's interesting because obviously the oatcake ends at the end of the
season.
Yeah,
it does. Which is
and does the message board get dragged down with it?
I don't know. Maybe
I think it might.
Maybe.
I honestly think it might.
I'm not sure.
If anything off the Martin Smith podcast is to go by and go and check it out, that's the 3rd podcast we ever did.
It's a belter, that is.
I don't think they enjoy running it, and who would with some of the stuff?
They don't associate the name with something.
They don't want to associate the name with it. So I reckon it could get taken down.
Maybe it could, because it is a kind of like a breeding ground just for negativity. It really is, and I think the Stoke fans, we really have got to chill out. I'm not saying we've been great. Obviously, you've heard me on this podcast, but we need to just take a step back, give it at least another 4 to 5 weeks, and just see where we're going. Yeah. Some people are quoting we're going down, we're going to do with Sunderland and all this crap. Just it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. And I'll say it's how it is if we play poor, but when I look at things from a wider perspective, take a step back, just chill out. Chill out. Some people just being ridiculous at the moment.
If you can hear some noise in the background as well, that's a Tottenham podcast being recorded in the background. That's the Fighting Cock with Flav and the people. Must be fun being in the Premier League. They sound like they're having loads of fun.
I don't anticipate we'll be on that podcast.
John Percy, let's get into some news. John Percy said that 4 players have been told they can leave. Charlie Adam.
Yep.
Mbula. Chupo.
Yep.
And Cameron. Because obviously I pick up the general consensus posting things to the page, and I feel like the one out of all those is Cameron. People wouldn't want to let go.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And what I said at the start of the podcast,
he's going to, I think, Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, he's a good player. I don't know if it's his attitude or something that Rowett just hasn't clicked with, but
maybe he doesn't like him being a Trump supporter.
He could, yeah, no, he might be anti-Donald Trump, which, if that's his thing, fine. But you shouldn't bring politics into the thing, But
wait till November, mate. This is going to be the most political podcast.
It's going to be over,
It's not.
But yeah, like I said at the start of the podcast, obviously Indy got injured. He's injured a lot, isn't he? Williams 34, Ryan injured, nice, yeah. Ryan's got a bad history of back problems and all the rest of it. The natural replacement for them is Cameron if someone goes again. I think that's daft.
Like you say, who have we got?
I don't know. And I can't help but think that centre-back's been completely overlooked.
Harry Sutor?
Is he ready?
I don't think he...
I'm
not saying he's ready, but he hasn't gone on loan. I think he's still at the club. So he's there.
I mean, he's there, but I've had no indication to suggest that he's ready from any kind of representative at Stoke. I'd never get rid of Cameron at all. I think he'd be great in the Championship. I think he's a good player in the Premiership. I really do. He's just never had that consistency and been injury-free long enough to kind of stamp his authority. But I think he'd be great in the Championship, and I would not be getting rid of him at all. But
Mbula, obviously, it's never quite worked out. Record signing at one point.
Yeah, he's got the quality. We've seen it briefly for the half a season, but something's not right. There is this. So let's just cut our losses and move on from that one.
Chupo. I think I don't know. It's a strange one because I think he could do a job in the Championship, but at the same time, he seems more bothered about what he's posting on Instagram.
Yeah, I've heard about his famous Instagram. It's full of fashion shoots. And
it's full of shit.
Full of shit, if you want. Yeah. Chupo again. I think you're right. I think he's got the quality to be a decent player in the Championship, definitely. But can we as a club be arsed with the baggage and the attitude?
And when we brought him, he'd never moved to a club on a permanent fee, and he came to us for free. And I can see him leaving for free. He'll either go on loan somewhere and then leave for free when his contract's up.
It feels inevitable. It's a shame because I think there's a decent player buried within there somewhere, but I don't think Stoke City's ever going to see it, really.
And lastly,
the big one.
The big one. Literally, Charlie Adam. What a segue into that.
I don't want to, go on. You start. We've got slightly differing views on Charlie Adam.
We have.
My view has changed slightly after his little 5 live rants and spats and media spats and all that sort of
Which
stuff.
the club apparently talked to him about.
I should hope so as well.
Yeah.
I should hope so. Do you want to kick us off with Charlie then? Where are we going from here?
Well, first, he's been arguing with fans on Twitter. This was only last night, but I'll pull it up just so everyone's got what he's been doing lately. A little bit.
Go for the whole little thread?
Bit of I'm going to go through it all.
Okay.
So Charlie said, good win for the under-23s tonight at Sunderland, some good talent in the group. Danbury_90 on Twitter, who's a Stoke fan, said, you leaving yet? Charlie Adam put back in capitals, no. Danbury put, fuck's sake. Charlie Adam put, unlucky. Danbury said, no one likes you at the club. Charlie Adam put, like who? Danbury put, practically every Stoke fan, maybe.
He sounds really paranoid there, Charlie. You don't like who? Who doesn't like
Well, I know he is paranoid. Working in social media, you pick up on who's checking things all the time. And I know that Charlie Adams is one of them people who searches his name to find out what people are saying about him.
Does he?
100% because he picks up retweets about a post. Like, say someone's posted about a goal on this day or whatever it might be. He's not tagged. He's not in the post, but he's retweeted or he's found it, which tells me he's searching for his name.
Yeah.
Right? So 100% he is a bit like that.
Yeah.
And you know from the things he does on social media, or he's trying to go into media and all this, I've got no doubt he will be checking. But he's still employed by. Why is he arguing with fans?
Well, for a multi-millionaire footballer, none of the money should really be brought into it. I don't see why he needs to. Let's have it right. The first things first. The bloke he's arguing against, I forget his Twitter.
Danbury.
Whoever. He doesn't speak on behalf of Stoke fans. Even if some dislike Charlie, you do, some don't. And what was his quote? He said something along the lines of, oh, "No Stoke fans like you," or something like that. Was it like
most
Stoke fans dislike, which is a load of rubbish. You don't speak on behalf of us, mate. Whatever your name is, you're not kind of the mouthpiece for all Stoke fans. So I think this bloke's a bit of an idiot for getting involved. At the same time, Charlie, just leave it. You know, you're scrapping about on Twitter at whatever. Squitter. You don't need to be scrapping about on Twitter at whatever time that was, just meddling some stupid little line. It's just not worth it at all. He's not helped himself there at all, has he? But the bloke, for the fear of sounding like a 5-year-old, he did start it. He did provoke Charlie, and Charlie's kind of reacted. He shouldn't have done, but he has. I get it.
I just can't wait for Charlie Adam to go. I'll be honest. I'll be completely honest. I appreciate everything he's done for us. He has had some great games at one point. He scored some vital goals. The Manchester United one sticks in my mind.
Yeah.
Where he smashed it top bins. And there's a couple of other great moments he's had for us. But let's not remember the awful and torrid end he had to last season, which ultimately got us relegated.
I mean, last season, unfortunately, will kind of define his Stoke career, I fear, which is...
penalty miss at Brighton. Against Brighton.
Yeah. The
rebound. The red card against Everton. The open goal at Watford. The pass at Newcastle under no pressure whatsoever to set their goal up. That's us down.
There's several points there, isn't there? I mean, let's not say we went down because of Charlie, but you can certainly argue he didn't
contribute.
He didn't help. I've always been like a big fan of Charlie, and don't get me wrong, he's doing himself no favours. The shagging. Bloody hell.
You've come to the wrong podcast, mate.
The slagging of Shaqiri, got my words jumbled.
It seems to me as like some sort of jealousy or some sort of bitterness.
I kind of can't help but think there's
a reason Shaqiri's just moved to Liverpool, mate, and you're stuck at Stoke where you can't get a game.
I've got my own problems with Shaqiri, and I think he kind of let us down in certain elements last year. But despite that, he clearly scored some important goals and set up some important goals as well. I don't know why Charlie's bothered with that. I've always liked Charlie's attitude. I've liked it when he's on the pitch. Certainly contrast to kind of Shaq's laboured attitude sometimes. I've always kind of like advocated for what Charlie brought to the squad, but he's not helped himself at all.
He's not helping himself with any of those radio appearances of mine.
He's not.
And I know he's setting up for a career in media, which is fine, but there's a way to go about it. And slagging off the club that you're playing for now and the ways that they've gone about getting relegated or what they've been doing, it's not your place now. You save that for your booker when you retire. You save that for the end of your career. You send that for when you're not playing. You're still playing, mate. You're still on the books. You're still getting paid by the club. Why the fuck are you slagging them off on the internet?
Yeah, I mean, Charlie certainly kind of tipped tip my views of him this past 12 months. But some I'm quoting the Oatcake, but some of the Oatcake sums up for me what I personally feel about Charlie Adam now. I think it's this bloke on Oatcake, Stoke City Dom. He just said it's time for him to move on. He's given us some good memories. Yes, he's tainted his reputation a little bit over the past 12 months, but when he leaves, it will be with my best wishes. That's where I stand with Charlie at the moment. But I don't think you're quite as...
He's already soured it all for me. I can't wait to get rid of the bloke.
He had the ability to be not a club legend as such, but certainly a very high regarded servant of the club. But he has screwed it last 12 months.
I think there's a lot more
argue with that
goes on behind the scenes, and I think he's trying to pass the buck. And you read people's biographies like Craig Bellamy's about when he moved to Liverpool, and people, they were like, "Who's this fucking person we signed?" And he was bragging about how much he could drink on holiday with his mates and beer, and he certainly comes across as that sort of player. And for me, I just don't like the guy, and I don't have to like the guy. I can appreciate everything he did for Stoke, but for me, his time's done. He hasn't been in the first two squads for the first two matches of the season. No. He's been, apparently, if you believe in John Percy, he's been told he can leave the club. For me, I'd rather he did sooner the better. I
think it's weird. I think a fully fit Charlie Adam would be quite a good little scrap in this division, but whatever.
We just signed Lucas, mate, so we don't need him.
You're not having, are you?
Nah.
No. I get it. No, I do get why you'd be that passionate against Adam. I get that.
Next up, Jack Butland. He opened up the other night over his potential move in the summer and his love for Stoke City. He said, "I've never been shy about having individual ambitions, targets and aspirations. Yes, I've always wanted to play at the very highest level, and I will work and work and work until those opportunities come around. I have always given my everything to Stoke, and I will continue to do that because I love the club, I love the fans, and everyone connected with it. I will give everything."
I think that's perfectly honest and fine. Of course, Jack wants to be playing the Champions League at the top end of the Premiership. Appreciate his honesty. Fine. Cheers, Jack, for that. We all knew that. But
some people think it's disingenuous as it didn't come in the transfer window and it's come afterwards.
But then the quote speaks for itself, then, doesn't it? Because he has literally said, "I would have gone." Yeah, of course. Why did he say he wouldn't say that during the transfer window? He's literally come out and said, "I would have gone if a big boy had come in." Understandable, young, ambitious keeper. No one did. I'm still here. I'm going to fight for the squad.
Fair enough.
Cheers, Jack.
Fair. It's a special person's birthday today. Do you know who it is?
Oh yes, yeah, I do.
Who?
Matty Everington.
It is Matty Everington's birthday. Happy birthday, Matty. I sent him a message on Twitter today. I've sent him a WhatsApp. He's enjoying his time at Peterborough as a coach now.
Yeah, of course.
Going into the coaching scene. One of the best, if I know you might say, the best winger we've ever had.
The best winger in my... I'm 31. He's the best winger I've ever seen at Stoke. Comfortably. He's still more consistent and out of it. Certainly more consistent than Shaqiri. Yeah, he was absolute class at Stoke. Stoke City legend.
Absolute hero. Yeah. And we tweeted out the picture of Wembley, which gives us memories none of us will ever forget. The bottom 5-0. Him celebrating. We're still giving away the prints each week.
How many have we got?
We must have made him sign 100 because we've still got some. Or we've made the competition quite purposely difficultly hard to win, even though someone won it this weekend. I think Jim Morris. I might have completely made that name up, but someone won this weekend. We do plan to have Matty on. You don't know about this, Craig. We do plan to have Matty back on at some point when he's promoting his new book.
Oh yeah.
That's still in some sort of stage where they're trying to work out what date it comes out, etc. But we hope to get him back on, to chat to him again and promote his book.
That'd be great, really well for that, yeah.
Which would be great. Which would be brilliant. We went and spoke to him last time. If you haven't seen it already, go and check out the Matty Everington podcast. Just search it on YouTube. It's on SoundCloud. It's a good chat.
It was a great chat.
And to give props to Matty, in that podcast multiple times, he said we were in trouble.
Well, we called all of this, didn't he? Mm-hmm. He called every single last bit of this, which is worrying. But he was spot on.
He knew.
He was spot on. He did know.
Matty knew.
He did know. Nobody listened to Matty.
Knew. Last up, before we get on to the people's questions, I don't know if you know. Again, I just keep things from you, Craig. You've probably seen it. We've sponsored Abbey Hulton United.
I know this one, yeah.
Abbey Hulton United Football Club. A sponsorship that I wanted to do for a long time. I've got a couple of friends who play there, but it's good to put back into the local game in Stoke-on-Trent as we've got the availability to do so. And I'm asking everyone who listens to the podcast when there's an international weekend, or maybe even when Stoke aren't playing on a Saturday, to go along and support the club. They're a local club, need all the support they can get. It's a nice little setup down there. They've just had a stand put in. I think they've got floodlights put in now. They've got a nice little clubhouse. Go down there, mention you've come from the Bear Pit TV. I'm sure they will sort you out with whatever it might be.
I was going to say, what's that? What, free pint?
It might be a free drink. It might be, a little bit off your admission to get in. Whatever it is, just go down, mention the Bear Pit TV sent you.
That's the beauty, isn't it? You go to that sort of level of football, a pint on the terrace. It's the dream,
Exactly.
It's the dream, innit?
It's brilliant. And I will be there at some point in the season a couple of times. When I go back and visit and watch my mates and whoever it might be. Like I say, we're planning to even maybe give the club the same coverage we would to Stoke on an international weekend, to give them a little bit of promotion and a little bit of a help out. Go and check it out, Afobe United Football Club. Go and watch the game. Let us know if you do.
What division are they in?
I think it is... Oh, you're testing me now.
You can say Evo Stick or something.
No. It's... I think they're one down from Newcastle Town.
Okay.
So the one below.
Okay.
One below Newcastle Town, I think. I'm not sure what exactly that is, and I might be wrong. But I know that
it's a reasonable standard.
It's a similar level. It's a good standard.
It's a good standard. Yeah. It's by no means kind of like, Sunday League roster. It's a decent
they've just been promoted.
Yeah,
just been promoted. So a good level. And I've always wanted to use the powers of this fan channel that you get to do good, and I feel like that's one other step. We've obviously also partnered with the Dougie Mac. We're giving money to them. £1 from each sale on the store, which I know some of you mentioned has been down for a long time because we're looking at making it work without us having to do much, as in I don't want to be packing hundreds of t-shirts at home, I'll be honest. So that should be back up and running soon. We'll have some new designs, we'll have some new t-shirts and new things, and of course £1 of every sale will go to the Dougie Mac, which is great. But I've always wanted to be a fan channel that does powers for good and not for evil.
Like a superhero.
I'm a superhero. I'm a fucking superhero.
Powers for good, not evil.
I'm a fucking superhero. Right. But that's that. That's the bit on what we've been doing this season and what we're going to be doing. I hope everyone does go and support Afobe Football Club as like a secondary local team. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And like I say, we'll be there some weekends. Let's get on to the people's questions. There's been a lot, Craig.
Yeah, you seem quite excited to read some of these out.
I am. I'm going to get my phone because we're even, like we usually ask on Twitter and Facebook, but we're even asking on Instagram these days, Craig.
Wow, it's all kicking off, isn't it?
It's all kicking off. But there's plenty. Absolutely plenty. Jake Jake, just leave us alone. How many shakes are allowed at the urinal before it's technically masturbating?
I don't know.
2? Let's just say 2.
I was going to say 4, but
4?
I've never thought about it. Don't make me out to be the weird one here. Jake's the weird one.
Jake is 100% the weird one. I think the Fighting Cock podcast is just clearing up now. In the first half, Brentford had free kicks, that's Harvey Todd. Butland was trying to position the wall, but they didn't listen, which annoyed Jack. Multiple times in the games, Ince made a run for a through ball, but nobody passed to him when it was the easiest pass. Can you see the squad falling out?
Can I see it falling out? No, I just think that them particular incidents were just frustrations on the day. I don't think that you should read anything more into that, personally.
Not reading into it?
No, not yet. It's too early.
Connor Jordan says, how many games do you give Rowett to turn it around? Also, how much is Cartwright and Scholes to blame?
God, Bennett, how many times have we had that question asked to us? The Cartwright and Scholes one. I mean, loads. We can't say any more, really, can we? Rowett, I reckon
10, 12.
Yeah, 10, 12 games, depending on where we are in the league, before I really start to judge kind of the situation.
Like if we're 10 games and we're bottom third, I'd be very worried.
Very worried. If we're outside of the playoffs after 10 games, that's fine. Teams have forever come from kind of a lowly position to win automatic promotion. So,
and at Stoke Staffs jumps in on that and says, "Are you worried we could get in a relegation scrap again?"
No. Don't worry yourself with that sort of thought. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. We're not going down.
We'll be all right. Dave Wright asks, when was the last time you saw the team do a mass hug before the kickoff?
Mass hug.
It's a valid question.
I don't know if you said it. I'll just go for huddle. I don't know. I can't recall the last. I don't know. Have we ever done that? I'm sure we have. But
I'm sure we have.
I don't know the answer to when it was last. Does he know?
Maybe he knows. Dave, maybe you know. Let us know.
I put his question back to him.
Nathan, or at the Brutal Sniper, says, why didn't we try and get Staphylidis on a permanent deal or another loan? I thought he was a decent left back. P.S. Happy the pod is back.
He looked all right when he was here, but by no means was I kind of crying out for him during the transfer window. I think we've got to get this guy back. There was never enough evidence to suggest that we should have gone for him. So he was all right, but at the same time, I've not lost sleep on him not being a Stoke City player.
I think Lucas is coming and is going to be doing that utility man job.
He's left back, obviously, as we now know, so that's all right.
Luis says, personally, I admire and appreciate what some of our players have done for the club. However, do you feel we are... Oh, the screen's gone on the TV, Craig.
There you go.
Where's the remote? There we go. We know you'll look like the visual experience as well. Lewis says, personally, I admire and appreciate what some of our players have done for the club. However, do you feel we are showing too much loyalty towards the likes of Shawcross and Peters, or are they still good enough for the upcoming season?
I agree with the one on Shawcross, and I won't criticise Shawcross with any great venom at all, because he's been an absolute club legend, probably the biggest club legend of my lifetime. But you know, everyone peaks, everyone declines. He's not the player he was, and he's certainly not droppable at the moment. So I can't help but think Rowett's slightly backed into a corner here, because he's the captain, and Rowett thinks you can't come into a club like Stoke and upset the biggest club legend there at the moment. And I feel Rowett probably is considering that he's maybe not the centre back he was. What do you do?
Bruno's injured now, so it looks like
it's got to be.
Williams will be in there.
But I won't lie, Williams and Indy as a partnership duo is quite a tempting forward at the moment. I'm not saying Ryan's done at all. He might come back and be the player of the season, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility that could be our starting partnership at some point this season. It might not be, but it could be.
Lee Hawthorne, or Orphy, as he's well better known, says, a nice and easy one for you lads. Is it more about the wrong players, underperforming players, undercooked players, wrong tactics, or just a massive confidence issue?
They blow my mind, do they? Do I again?
Is it about the wrong players?
So what's that? Wrong players?
Underperforming players, undercooked players, wrong tactics, or a massive confidence issue?
Right.
I think a lot's confidence.
Good question. Yeah, I'm going to go with underperforming players and confidence. I've already said I've gone on about the confidence. I think confidence is the biggest thing for me at the moment. We have got the quality. Joanne's a good player. Mm-hmm. We've got good players littered throughout the squad, but they just seem to be shot to pieces at the moment, confidence-wise. So for me, underperforming in confidence.
Yeah, I'm going to say confidence is a big issue, especially you've got so many people there from a relegated team. It takes so much to wind you up and get ready to go at it all again. Even though I don't know, I feel like I'd be so pumped over winning, like dominating or winning.
You could detect it at the Bet 365 the other day. The atmosphere was horrible. I knew it happened as well. I knew Brentford would start brightly and the crowd would get on the backs, and you could see the players just like they didn't want the ball. It was obvious. That's why we must litter the squad with as many new faces as we can, just to try and turn this over.
Invigorate.
Yeah, exactly. Clucas, Williams, Afobe, Ince, McLean, etc. We need to get new faces starting.
Okay, Luke Barker says, not really a question, but last season Fulham only won 6 of the first 20 games and went on... oh god, this is an odd one to read.
I like his starting point now.
Yeah, so basically he's trying to say that Fulham only won 6 of the first 20 and went on to win 19 of their last 26, only losing 2 in that period. In fact, they were in 15th after the game 20 and only broke into the top 6 after game 29.
100%, that's spot on.
And he said, basically, I'm saying not to get worried yet, we've got plenty of time to turn things around.
Spot on, yeah. I mean, there's countless teams that have done this. I think Newcastle were what? The bottom 3 under Benitez a few years ago, and they went up. Sunderland were rock bottom when Roy Keane come in and got them promoted automatically. There's more than enough time. And that
I helped
Fulham
get his coaching badge.
Did you?
So
you said that a few times, haven't you? Much embellishment.
I thought I'd mention it before. Go ahead, carry on then.
But that Fulham stat is spot on. It's spot on. We just need to make sure that we're kind of doing the right things. We've not been so far, but as long as we can see the progression on the pitch, even if the results aren't coming immediately, that's all that matters. Admittedly, they're not, but we need to give it a little bit of time.
We're on to the Facebook questions now. Matthias Goldbrandt has given us 5 questions.
That's a name, isn't it?
He says, great to have you back, boys. And then he's given us 5 questions, but I'm going to just read one for the sake of the podcast. The big captain question. Is Ryan the answer of our needs?
As we've just said, if he's truly in the position that he needs to be dropped because he's not performing, by definition, no. You should only start if you're performing well. So if Ryan isn't performing well, by default he shouldn't be the captain. And I don't know who should be, to be honest. Joe Allen? He had a shocker against Brentford, but Joe Allen.
He'd be the obvious one after signing a new deal.
Can't help but think Ashley Williams, even though he's just coming to the club, would be quite a good mouthpiece.
Or do you even go Butland?
I don't know if you can with somebody that's openly said he will and wants to leave. Not in an aggressive having a go sort of way, but I think that might wind up some of the other players slightly. Whereas Joe Allen, been relegated, put pen to paper in a new contract. I just don't think he can give it a chat.
Nicola Chapman says, how has the manager gone through pre-season and only signed one forward when it's so obvious we need at least one more?
If we're playing 4-3-3, and I think Afobe looks alright.
With one single forward, you're thinking like Crouch, come on, is fine. Or very. Do you know what I've picked up from interviews and Kevin Phillips, some articles? Apparently, it seems like they've got a lot of faith in Berahino to come good. It seems to me like they've got a lot of faith.
I don't know. I haven't. Have you?
No, not really.
How long can you wait for someone to score? I've got no faith in Berahino.
No, I've not.
On paper, Crouch, Berahino and Afobe are more than enough. But we know that Crouch and Berahino aren't going to fire us. You know, they're not going to get 20 plus. Afobe might. But then if we're playing one striker anyway, barring he doesn't get injured, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
I can understand why we've not invested stupidly in the striker department. Because if he is going to play this one down the middle, why would you have 4 strikers? He's got Juve as well, don't forget.
Do you know what I look at and I'm quite envious of? And I can bring this on to another question, which is Kevin Hardy, who says, hasn't took West Brom or Swansea long to adjust, so why is it taking Stoke long to adjust?
Just in what sense?
To the Championship.
We're only 2 games in, I think.
Only 2 games in.
Yeah.
And West Brom lost the first game.
Of course they did, they've hardly
adjusted. Did they draw?
No, they lost to Bolton.
Yeah, they lost.
They've hardly adjusted.
But I'm going to be honest, and I look at West Brom's forward line of Jay Rodriguez and Dwight Gale, and I'm jealous.
Class. Yeah, I just wish we played 2 up front. I really would love to play 2 up front, stop messing about with this weird formation.
Matt Bennett says, Craig owes me a tenner from a dream I had, so could I have it back, please?
I mean, I don't know what he wants me to say to that. We need some context before I go handing out tenors willy-nilly, to be honest.
Just give out tenors, Craig.
Let's have some context, please.
Sam Richards, wonder if either of you have read Terry Conroy's autobiography. If not, I'd highly recommend it. A great insight into the Stoke team in the early 70s and some really funny stories. Also love the pod, glad it's back.
I know my dad has, and I think he's got the book, so I'll grab that when I go back home.
My dad's read it.
Yeah.
I think. I can't say I have.
No.
Cameron Donoghue says, why didn't you tell us about the signing of Darren Ferguson?
That was good, wasn't it? That was funny.
What's going on?
I was too wound up at the time to laugh when they made that sub and they called... God, I've forgotten his bloody name now. Darren Fletcher.
You were going to say Darren Ferguson.
But yeah, I was too wound up at the time to laugh. But yeah, that's probably the highlight of the game, actually, when they called out Darren Ferguson. That was funny.
What's going on?
That was good. It's going to pop.
Lee Davis says, do you think the club have kept to the words that were promised in the letter wrote at the end of the season, learning from mistakes, back in management, etc.?
I feel like we have back Rower generally. I mean, the net spend is what, 8 million. We still spent sizable money on new additions for the Championship. I think so far, but it's difficult to say, isn't it? I think so.
I still think this thing's creeping in, that it's the old management, maybe penny pitching over little amounts here and there, maybe the Richie deal, who knows. Rowett seemed quite unhappy about the transfer window, in all honesty. Couldn't get some of the players in. We left the squad quite short, in my opinion. We're relying on loans. Net spend of 8 million. It's not a lot.
No.
I mean, we could have spent more. Do you know what I think about? And it's, in the Championship now, and there's nothing we can do about that. But I remember last season with the ambition thing, and when we signed Hesse on loan. And I tell you what, real ambition is: Wolves and Fulham. And we've got the owners who could do that, but they choose not to. Wolves pumping in however much signed all these Portuguese players will undoubtedly be challenging for top 10 in the first season back in the Premier League. Fulham have done similar. I don't think they're as strong as Wolves, but I still think they've more than equipped themselves for, not like Wolves, not only to survive but to push on after that season.
Yeah,
that's ambition. Can you say that Stoke have done the same in the past couple of seasons?
No, but I mean without seeing it like a real breakdown of all our spending, I think I've always defended the Coates family, and I kind of always will. And I struggle to ever kind of criticise in any sense because they've put in millions upon millions. into the club. In terms of the last 12 months, we've undoubtedly been a bit tight with some of the transfers, but time will tell with that question, won't it? It's difficult to say now. One transfer window, and we'll see again in January. We've still got the loan window at the moment, so we might go for it. I don't know. Time will tell for that one.
Time will tell. Lastly, the Instagram questions. This is a new
feature,
area for us. An absolutely new area. God, it's hard to find some that we've not already answered as well. Lucas Pritchard, where will we finish? I know it's really hard after 2 games. Do you still think we've got that, not a God-given right, but feeling of going straight back up?
I think we'll finish top 4.
Right.
To what end, I don't know.
Not sure. You're not sure.
What do you reckon?
I'm going to say top 6. Lewis Cartledge, do you think Gary Rowett will do it at Stoke? Because I don't think so.
This is so difficult to answer so many of these questions at this stage. My gut tells me he'll bring it round. I think he'll bring it round. I see a lot of similarities in Pulis and him, the positive bits of Pulis, that is. I think he will. Yeah. I like what I hear of him. I like the way he reacts against Brentford. I like his interviews. I think he will turn it round. We've just got to be patient.
I'd love to read everyone's questions, but a lot of them are similar, and I'm definitely not reading Finley Hepplestone's question, but thank you for sending it in. Is there any more that we can answer?
There's millions on here, isn't there?
There's tons on Instagram, absolutely tons. Northern.God says, does Afobe's playing style remind you of Fuller when he first joined the club?
Yeah, it does. That's a really good shout, actually. I don't know if he's got the same sort of skill on the deck as Fuller, but the way he turns reminds me of Fuller. That's a really good question, that is, or comment anyway. Like that. Yeah, it does.
Macca6377 says, does it look like Bojan will be staying down this window?
You just get the impression that Rowett doesn't like him somehow.
No one ever does, apparently.
No, I don't know why, because the fans do. But that's something we didn't get into with Brentford. I know we're towards the end of the podcast now, but why on earth didn't he take off Fletcher and Allen, who were clearly struggling and chasing shadows?
Instead of Bojan.
Bizarre. I still get a sneaky feeling Bojan might be off on loan. I just don't think Rowett fancies him. I don't know why.
I hope he isn't. We need him. We're fucking desperate for him. I mean, he was crying out for him in the game at Leeds. He brought him on. He tried his best.
He looks right at Leeds as well.
He looked okay.
Yeah.
He played very well at the weekend against Brentford. One of our brighter players.
Definitely.
Made our top 3 of the week.
Yeah.
If we lose him, where's the creativity coming from?
I don't know. Clean.
And I also saw, but not slating Charlie Adam even further, but there was a comment on the page about, the Charlie Adams spat, and someone put Charlie Adams the most creative player we've had in the past couple of years. I was like, holding my head in my hands. I was like, Charlie Adam, the most creative player we've had? You fucking kidding me?
I'm not going to dig out. We've done the Charlie thing, haven't we? He has his moments where he sees something others don't, if I'm being kind to that comment.
He can knock a long ball.
He can knock a long ball well.
He can also shoot from the halfway line once a week, but only comes off 1 in 500. Lastly then, this question's done. Preston away at the weekend. 5:30 kick-off. It's on Sky. I know a lot of people are going to be stopping off in Blackpool before or after, because it's a good away day.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts going into this?
I feel like I've been useless on this podcast. I keep saying I don't know, because I don't, because it's new division, really? It's generally quite a lot of new players, new manager. Preston have had a so-so start, have they? All I will say is we need to get going eventually. So I'm going to just back us for a win. That is rubbish analysis. I'm giving you nothing.
Got to kick it off, haven't we?
Yeah.
I want to see. I know when I see midfield, I want to see Bojan, Allen, Afobe.
Yeah.
I want to see
in
that.
2?
Afobe and Allen.
Okay, then
Bojan.
Yeah,
I
think Fletcher can't play.
I think the rest of the team picks itself.
Yeah.
Which is Afobe up front, McLean and Ince on the wings,
does.
Bauer, Peters, Shawcross, Williams if India's injured, Butland a goal. I've just done your preferred
accent. That literally is it.
But still gotta do it.
Can I flog my ticket quickly as well?
Go on.
So I don't know how often you can forget a wedding's coming up, but I forgot about a wedding. I'm in France this Saturday, so I can't go. So I bought my Preston ticket, completely forgetting. If anybody wants to buy a Preston ticket from me,
now's your chance.
PM.
DM PM?
DM, direct message, or personal message. I'm not down with the Insta Insta Twitter or lingo, but let the page know. And
At C Beresford 1863.
Oh yeah, or tweet me out. So yeah, that's a good shout.
First person to. Do you want money for it?
Big time, yeah.
Oh yeah, of course you do.
Yeah. I want money for it. I'm not going to
Face value.
This isn't a competition. I need to flog this thing. So I'm lost here. I need to get
Face value.
Yeah, because it's sold out.
There you go. Face value ticket there for Preston.
Yeah,
if anyone wants it, exclusive on the Bear Pit podcast. It's not a competition. Craig needs the brass.
I'm just using this platform to flog a ticket because I bought it like an idiot forgetting about this wedding.
And I'm sure you'll have someone. I'm sure someone will contact you.
I hope so.
But that has been the Bear Pit pod. The burst.
We've had a mayor with well nice.
Shagging
and
you said shagging. I've said burst instead of fit. To be fair, I've had a few before this at the pub.
I've not, so I don't know what my excuse was.
But that has been the first week back of the proper season for the Bear Pit
Negative
pod.
as you like, wasn't it? That
it was a bit.
Stick pound round, we'll be all right. We'll get going. We will get going.
Listen, we're going up.
Well, but we'll get going.
I've put this tweet up and I've got to follow it through now. But I put I was watching the first championship game, Reading versus, was it Reading Leeds?
Reading Derby.
Reading Derby, and I watched 45 minutes of this. Stoke are going to walk the league with 100 points because it was a dire game. And then I've followed it on and I'm keeping a conversation going now on my Twitter, just saying that we're going up no matter what. I've said Afobe is going to score 65 goals. I'm taking the piss, but it's getting quote retweeted everywhere. Derby fans have been giving me shit.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Fine.
But that has been the Bear Pit Pod. Make sure you give it a like on YouTube, Acasting, iTunes. I was going to say
don't look at me. I don't know.
SoundCloud, all that good stuff. Give it a like, give it a comment, share it, tell your nan, tell whoever, and we'll be back next week, next Tuesday, and hopefully after our first 3 points of the season.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
See you later.
Ta-ra.